Welcome back to the Science of Parenting podcast, where we connect you with research based information that fits your family. This is our third of three mini episodes focused all around gaming. In that first episode, we focused on how the structure of gaming has changed over time. In episode two, we looked at changes in how the games are monetized, and we touched on how families might start to feel overwhelmed, which brings us to today, where we're going to make a shift to talking about something hopeful as we look at what actually helps in our parenting around gaming. So, at the end of the day, again, it isn't just about games, but it really is about parenting. We are joined again by So Young Park, who is a doctoral student studying digital game culture and family life. So Young, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. I'm excited for today's episode because this is where we move from why it's hard to what can you do.
And I am so excited for this conversation too. So let's just jump in. So Young, when it comes to gaming, it seems like parents usually fall into, say, one of two patterns. Either they are setting those very strict rules or they're trying to just be very involved. Is that fair to say?
Well, that's something we see very often. Some parents focus mostly on limits, like strict time rules, or they say no more gaming today to their kids without much discussion. However, boundaries are very important. Kids need structure. So strict limits sometimes increase tensions, especially as children get older, and gaming can become a kind of a powerful struggle.
I think that many parents feel like they either have to choose between being really strict or being too relaxed, not only in gaming, but also in parenting in general. And there is really more of an in between, right? If you've been with us in the past, you've listened to the Science of Parenting before, you maybe have heard us talk about Diana Baumrind and her the idea of authoritative parenting, which essentially is that balance. It's that balance between setting boundaries while also being warm and supportive.
Exactly. That approach works better in the long term. Instead of only focusing on control, some parents focus on connection. It doesn't mean removing rules, it means combining limits with understanding. So, for example, in game, parents can do like asking about the game to their children, talking about what's fun or stressful points, or sitting nearby while they play, and just trying the game briefly. When parents guide this way, families often see less conflict, better communication, and more trust around gaming.
I think that it helps by approaching games this way, it can help a child feel guided, right? And we know that guidance works better than control. So, how do parents build that understanding in the first place? When parents are stressed about games, what maybe is the first shift that they might want to make?
That's a really great question. The first thing that helps is shifting the parental lens. A lot of parents start from just a yes or no questions, like is gaming good or bad? Or should I allow this game or not? But modern games are not one simple things. They are kind of systems with time system, social systems, reward systems, and spending systems. So more useful questions become how does this game work? And what is this game asking my children to do with time, money, and attention of them? That shift reduce panic because now parents are not just guessing, they are observing.
Yes, it really turns that I don't understand this, right? Into, okay, yeah, I can learn how this works. You're really changing that question instead of just jumping into judgment. So if a parent maybe isn't a quote unquote gamer themselves, how can they start to build that understanding?
Yep. Gaming literacy doesn't mean parents have to become gaming experts. It simply means learning enough to parent confidently. We can start by asking basic questions. For example, you can ask, does this game have in game purchase? Is there virtual currency involved? Can my child chat with strangers? Is this competitive or there are there rankings or pressure to log in? Can it be paused or does it run in long matches?
Those are really good questions that can really help you to learn enough to understand your environment that those children are stepping into, right?
Yep, absolutely. Building that understanding doesn't require a research project. It can be really simple, like sit next to your child for 10 minutes and just watch and ask them to explain what they are doing and say, what makes this game fun for you? Or is there anything about this game that feels stressful? And even you can try the game yourself once, not to master it, just to experience it.
That 10 minutes, just 10 minutes can help a huge amount, and it really does feel manageable.
Yes, and something interesting happens when parents do that. It stops feeling like surveillance and it starts feeling like interest.
Mhm.
Children respond very differently to interest than to control.
Yeah, so now that parents understand the system a little better, it helps to kind of feel more comfortable, but the real life moment, things like play times like dinner time, bedtime, it's time for homework. If even if they do understand the game better, conflict can still happen at that stopping point, right? So, how do we turn those moments into something less explosive?
Well, this is such a common situation, and often the conflict isn't really about attitude or disrespect.
Mhm.
It's about timing. So, from the parent's point of view, it feels it's very simple. It's time to stop. But from the child's point of view, they might be in the middle of something that can't just pause. They might be in the middle of a match, about to win, trying to reach out to the checkpoint, or playing with teammates who are counting on them. So when we say turn it off right now, it can feel to them like being asked to walk away in the middle of a sentence.
Absolutely, and kids can refuse your request, not because they don't respect the rule, but that timing just feels so abrupt. It's not time yet, right?
Exactly what helps is adjusting how we structure the stop. Parents still set the boundary, but instead of stopping at a random second, we can stop at a natural breakpoint. So, for example, we can say to our children, you can finish this match, then we are done. Or no start a new round after, for example, 3:30 or 8:30. Yeah. And or you can say you have 10 minutes, start wrapping up, and we stop at a save point. It sounds small, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's not about giving in, it's about being strategic, and I like the we stop after you hit that save point because then it makes it sound like you know what's going on, right? So, it is just about being strategic.
Yes, and when children feel their efforts and progress are respected, they are kind of more likely to cooperate.
Yeah, and I do really like that. It feels less overwhelming for the adults when you put it that way. It's not about banning everything or fighting constantly. It's about understanding what's happening and responding in a smarter way than maybe we were able to do before. So, and I really think that rings true of honestly our conversations that we've had throughout the last 3 weeks. Um, all around modern gaming systems. and those parenting skills that can help guide children in healthy and thoughtful ways. So, okay, we are getting close to the end, but before we wrap up, So Young, what is one message that you would like parents to remember from our time together?
Well, I would say you don't need to win a battle against gaming. You don't need to control every second. What helps most is understanding how the game works, staying connected to your child, and build small, fair routines over time.
I love that reminder. So important. We know that gaming isn't going away, but we also know that conflict doesn't have to be constant. When you start to understand that system as an adult, we stopped reacting to it and we start guiding. And we know guidance is huge when it comes to parenting. So, as we close this series, we hope these conversations about modern gaming and parenting skills have offered some helpful guidance for supporting children. Thank you, So Young, so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure over the last 3 weeks. We appreciate you sharing both your professional expertise, your research experience. It's just been a pleasure to talk all things gaming with you throughout the last 3 weeks. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in again today. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Science of Parenting podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch video versions on YouTube. And as always, come along with us as we tackle the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and the research and reality all around the science of parenting.
The Science of Parenting is a research based education program hosted by Mackenzie DeYoung Schelling, produced and edited by Brock Bierman, with contributions from Barbara Dunn Swanson, Dr. Connie Beecher, Haley Walker, and Morgan Noel. Send in questions and comments to parenting@iastate.edu and connect with us on Facebook. This program is brought to you by Iowa State University Extension and Outreach.